A barren woman kneels in prayer as an angel of the Lord appears in a radiant glow. Before Samson was born, an angel of the Lord appeared to his mother.
You are barren and childless, but you are going to become pregnant and give birth to a son. Now see to it that you drink no wine or other fermented drink, and that you do not eat anything unclean. You will become pregnant and have a son whose head is never to be touched by a razor, because the boy is to be a Nazirite, dedicated to God from the womb. He will take the lead in delivering Israel from the hands of the Philistines.
The woman's eyes fill with awe as she touches her stomach. Years pass, and a young boy grows into a powerful man with long, uncut hair. And Samson journeyed to Timnath, and saw a woman in Timnath of the daughters of the Philistines. And he went back, and told his father and his mother, and said,
I have seen a woman in Timnah, one of the daughters of the Philistines. Now, get her for me as my wife.
Then his father and his mother said unto him,
Samson, what have I told you?
Is there never a woman among the daughters of your brethren, or among all my people, that thou go to take a wife of the uncircumcised Philistines?
Get her for me, for she pleaseth me well.
Then went Samson down, and his father and his mother to Timnah, and came to the vineyards of Timnah. And behold, a young lion roared against him, and the Spirit of God came mightily upon him, and he rent him as he would have rent a kid. And he had nothing in his hand, but he told not his father or his mother what he had done. And he went down and talked with the woman, and she pleased Samson well. After some time he returned to take her. On the way he turned aside to see the carcass of the lion, and behold, there was a swarm of bees and honey inside the lion's carcass. He scooped some of it into his hands and ate as he continued on his way. When he came to his father and mother, he gave them some, and they ate also, but he did not tell them that he had taken the honey from the lion's carcass. Then his father went down to the woman, and Samson held a feast there, as was customary for young men. When the people saw him, they brought 30 companions to be with him. And Samson said to them,
Let me tell you a riddle. If you can solve it and explain it to me within the 7 days of the feast, I'll give you 30 linen garments and 30 sets of clothes. But if you can't solve it, then you must give me 30 linen garments and 30 sets of clothes.
And he said unto them,
Out of the eater came something to eat. Out of the strong came something sweet.
But after 3 days, they still couldn't figure out the riddle. Then on the 7th day, they went to Samson's wife and said,
Get your husband to tell us the answer to the riddle, or we'll burn you and your father's house down.
Did you invite us here just to rob us?
Then Samson's wife began to cry in front of him. She said,
You hate me. You don't love me at all. You gave my people a riddle, but you haven't even told me the answer.
And Samson replied,
Look, I haven't even told it to my father or my mother, so why should I tell you?
She cried in front of him throughout the entire 7 days of the feast. And finally, on the 7th day, because she kept pressing him so much, he told her the answer. Then she went and told it to her people. So before the sun went down on the 7th day, the men of the city came to Samson and said,
What is stronger than a lion?
Samson answered them,
If you hadn't used my wife, you never would have solved that riddle.
Then the Spirit of the Lord came powerfully upon him. He went down to Ashkelon, struck down 30 men, took their belongings, and gave their clothes to the men who had answered the riddle. Burning with anger, he returned to his father's house. But in his absence, Samson's wife was given to his companion, his best man. But it came to pass, within a while after, in the time of wheat harvest, that Samson visited his wife with a kid. And he said, "I will go in to my wife into the chamber." But her father would not suffer him to go in. And her father said,
I truly thought you must have completely hated her, so I gave her to your companion. But isn't her younger sister more beautiful than she is? Please, take her instead.
Samson responded about them, saying,
This time, no one can blame me for what I do to the Philistines.
Samson went out and caught 300 foxes. He tied them together in pairs, tail to tail, and fastened a burning torch between each pair. After lighting the torches, he released the foxes into the fields of the Philistines. The fire spread quickly, burning the harvested grain, the standing crops, and even the vineyards and olive groves. When the Philistines saw the destruction, they asked, "Who did this?" Someone answered, "It was Samson, the son-in-law of the man from Timnah. He did it because his wife was taken from him and given to his companion." In revenge, the Philistines went and burned the woman and her father alive. When Samson heard what they had done, he said,
Even though you've done this, I will take revenge on you. And after that, I'll stop. You think you've trapped me. No, I've trapped you. What you did to me, I now return to you. Huh, all too easy. Come.
So, he attacked them fiercely, striking them hip and thigh with great force, killing many of them. Then he went and lived in a cave in the rock of Etam. After that, the Philistines came and camped in Judah, spreading out into Lehi. The people of Judah asked them,
"Why have you come to fight us?"
They answered,
"We've come to capture Samson, to do to him what he did to us."
So 3,000 men of Judah went up to the cave at the rock of Etam and said to Samson,
"Don't you realize the Philistines rule over us? What have you done to us?"
Samson replied,
As they did to me, so I have done to them.
They said,
"We've come to tie you up and hand you over to the Philistines."
Samson said,
Swear to me that you won't kill me yourselves.
They replied,
"We won't kill you. We'll only tie you up and hand you over to them."
So they bound him with 2 new ropes and brought him up from the rock. When Samson arrived at Lehi, the Philistines came shouting to meet him. But then the Spirit of the Lord came powerfully upon him, and the ropes on his arms became like burned flax and fell off his hands. He found the fresh jawbone of a donkey, reached out, picked it up, and with it, killed 1,000 men. Then Samson said,
With a donkey's jawbone, I have made donkeys of them. With a donkey's jawbone, I have killed 1,000 men. Thank you, my God.
When he finished speaking, he threw the jawbone aside and named that place Ramath Lehi, Jawbone Hill. Afterward, Samson was very thirsty, and he cried out to the Lord,
You've given your servant this great victory, and now I'm to die of thirst? Will I fall into the hands of the uncircumcised?
Then God opened up a hollow place in Lehi, and water flowed out of it. Samson drank, and his strength returned, and he revived. So he named the spring En-Hakkore, Caller's Spring, and it is still in Lehi to this day. And Samson judged Israel during the time of the Philistines for 20 years. Then Samson went to Gaza, and there he saw a prostitute. He went in to spend the night with her. The people of Gaza were told, "Samson is here." So they surrounded the place and waited quietly for him all night at the city gate. They said, "Let's wait until morning, then we'll kill him." But Samson only stayed until midnight. At midnight, he got up, took hold of the doors of the city gate, along with the 2 gateposts, tore them loose, bar and all, and carried them on his shoulders to the top of the hill facing Hebron. Sometime later, Samson fell in love with a woman named Delilah, who lived in the valley of Sorek. The leaders of the Philistines came to her and said,
"Trick him. Find out where his great strength comes from and how we can overpower him.
Okay.
Tie him up and control him. Each of us will give you 1,100 pieces of silver."
Samson, please tell me something.
Of course I love you.
Of course, I love you, and I know you love me too, but there's another question in my mind.
The answer is yes. You're the only woman for me.
It's something else, something you're not telling me. You're so wonderfully strong. Is there any binding you couldn't escape from? I'm just curious, that's all.
Well, strangely enough, if I were tied up with 7 fresh cords that haven't dried out, I'd become as weak as any other man.
Then the Philistine leaders brought her the 7 bowstrings, and she tied him up. She had men hiding in the room, and she called out,
Samson, the Philistines are upon you.
What is this? Heathens, you will die! Philistines, I'll break you in pieces.
You've been mocking me and telling lies. How dare you?
I'm sorry, Delilah.
Now tell me how you can be bound if you really love me.
Okay. If they tie me tightly with new ropes that have never been used, I'll become weak like anyone else.
So Samson went back to sleep, his head resting peacefully in Delilah's lap. She gently massaged his hair, whispering softly, lulling him deeper into rest. Then, without a sound, she rose and stepped away, slipping into the shadows to speak with the men waiting nearby. They handed her new ropes, stronger and untouched, and while Samson slept, unaware, Delilah returned to his side and tied him up once more.
Samson, the Philistines are upon you.
Huh?
You've lied to me again. If your heart isn't with me, how can we be together?
You know I care for you, but some things you can't share.
But you say you love me, Samson. If you truly do, then trust me.
If you weave the 7 locks of my hair into the fabric on a loom and secure it with a pin, I'll become as weak as any other man. Hopefully you can forgive me. See you later.
The woman begins to thread his hair into the machine, one braid at a time, slowly, carefully, without waking him. And then she calls out, her voice sharp and sudden.
Samson, the Philistines are upon you. How dare you lie to me?
That same day, Delilah went to pray to her idol, Dagon, not knowing Samson had followed her and found her there.
I'm sorry I teased you this afternoon. It just didn't seem that important.
If you truly loved me, you would share the secret of your strength with me.
but I made a promise. Okay, I'll tell you.
And will you swear, before Dagon, that this time it will be the truth?
I will have nothing to do with your pagan idol. I'm a Nazarite, a man of God.
If you lie to me again, you leave in the morning and don't come back.
Fine. Tell this to no man, but my hair has never been cut, because I've been dedicated to God as a Nazarite from birth. If my hair is shaved, my strength will leave me, and I'll be as weak as any man. There, I told you.
I promise, my love. Now come, let us go, it's late.
Later that night, as Samson slept with his head in Delilah's lap, she ran her fingers gently through his hair. Then she gave the signal.
Samson, the Philistines are upon you.
You lied to me!
Get him.
No, Delilah, you have betrayed me.
The Philistines captured him. They gouged out his eyes, took him to Gaza, bound him in bronze shackles, and made him grind grain in the prison. But over time, his hair began to grow back. Meanwhile, the Philistine leaders held a great feast to honor their god Dagon, saying, "Our God has handed Samson, our enemy, over to us." When the people saw him, they praised their God and said, "Our God has delivered into our hands the one who destroyed our land and killed so many of us." When they were drunk and celebrating, they said, "Bring out Samson so he can entertain us." So they brought Samson out of prison to perform for them. Then Samson said to the young servant, leading him by the hand,
Let me feel the pillars that support the temple, so I can lean on them.
Okay.
Thank you, boy.
Now the temple was crowded with men and women. All the rulers of the Philistines were there, and about 3,000 men and women were on the roof watching Samson perform. Then Samson prayed to the Lord.
O Lord God, remember me, I pray. Strengthen me just this once, O God, that I may with one blow take vengeance on the Philistines for what they had done. This ends now. Let me die with the Philistines. Boy, run, now.
Run, Emmanuel, run!
And with one final act of strength, the temple came crashing down, burying the rulers and all the people within. In that moment, Samson gave his life, and in doing so, he defeated more enemies in death than he ever had in life. His family came for him. His brothers and all his father's house carried him home. And there, between Zorah and Eshtaol, they laid him to rest in the tomb of his father, Manoah. Samson had judged Israel for 20 years.